Hi everyone, it's Kirei here for Bramble Fox, and for my latest layout I'm using a couple of new sets from the shop. I have the Woof set and the Essential Stars set in the spring colours. I've pulled out a collection from Bella Blvd, Tiny Tots 2.0, and I have some very cute photos of our friend's dog. We don't actually have any pets, but we do have our friend's dog who is lovely, and we do love having cuddles with him when we see him. He's a cockapoo, and his name is Oz, and he is very, very adorable. Anyway, okay, I am just pulling out. I've picked four different papers here, well, five actually, but I picked four that are sort of colours and then the stripes. So I've got the yellow, the lime green, the navy, and the teal. And then I'm just really cutting them up into vertical strips that I'm going to use as layers behind my photo. And I do like adding lots of layers behind my photos. It's often something I do on, well, I do it in quite a lot of my layouts. So yeah, it just really just adds a bit more sort of, I guess, dimension to the layout. So here we go. I've cut them all down. I've distressed all the edges, layered them up and stuck them together. And now I'm going to stick them down to my background. And I have this sort of, it's a grid background, white with like a teal grid going over it. So it keeps it from being not completely plain white, which I rather liked. So I am mounting the two photos, and I've done this like little photo strip, film strip with four different photos of Oz on it. And then I've got that one slightly larger one. He's very cute looking in that larger photo. And I'm just mounting them onto this striped pattern paper, and I'm just picking out the sort of yellows, greens, and the blues to match the background papers that I've already used. I'm just cutting it out with a narrow border, and then I will distress the edges, of course, and then I can get get the photos stuck down and move on to the fun part, which is adding all the different bits and pieces, the embellishments. Okay, so with my photos, I'm just adding foam pads to the top of them, and then I'll keep the bottoms flat. I tend to do that on most of my layouts because I find I've got the flatter edge for layering embellishments over it, and on the top edge I can tuck elements behind it. So yeah, okay, so just placing those. Now, I also cut some other strips, some narrow strips you can see over on the left there, because when I placed this down on my background, I wasn't sure it just needed something else to sort of ground it on the other side. So I'm basically mirroring the strips that I've cut on the right side, and I'm adding them to the left in the same order. So just get those four laid down. I'm not adding any of the striped ones to this piece, just sticking to the four colours. And then I'll add a small embellishment cluster over there. And that effectively also, when you'll see when I get my embellishments on, it gives me that sort of three embellishment clusters, because I'll have one below the photos, one above, and then the one over on the left. And that's very much that rule of three in design. So you have 3 points on your layout that basically draws the eye in. So yeah, so it's one of those design principles. Okay, for the woof, so you've got the woof, you have the white letters that go inside, and then you have four coloured letters as well. And I'd sort of decided I was going to layer up the white parts of the woof, and then I was going to use the coloured letters down the side on the near the photos. But I do change my mind slightly. So I'm just figuring out which colour to mount the white on, because otherwise it just wasn't going to show up quite so strongly because I'm using a white background. So I've decided on the navy. I did look at the lime, but I'm going with the navy. That definitely worked well. And then I'll leave that just to dry, and then I'll trim that around. Now I'm just pulling in some of the embellishments. I'm just sort of picking out different pieces that sort of coordinated from the Tiny Tots collection. So I've got a tag, I've got a little notebook piece, I've got some flowers, I've got that very cute little dog, and then I've got some words. I've got handsome, adorbs, got a little tab there, and I've also, what else have I got? Now, I don't use the little frame actually. Oh, I've got the long yellow banner that says "I just want to play all day," which I thought was perfect. Go with. the doggy photos. Okay, so I've just added some staples to the little tab because I've added the adorbs over the top of that. And typically it's run out just as I was trying to finish it. So yeah, and then I'm just going to pop that into the right side there, just over the edge of the photo. And then I've got a little orange flower. So just playing around with where everything else is going to go. I've got the flower clusters. I know I'm going to go down with a cluster underneath. And then, like always, I've got my photos stuck down and deciding I need to tuck something behind them. So I've got the two pieces. I've got the note page in the white and the sort of pale blue, but I go with the pale blue in the end. Distressing the edges of the tag, and I will add some ribbon through that and just tie it with some twine. Okay, so Woof is now ready to go. I'm just going to trim around the edges of that, and then I'll just use my small craft knife to just cut into those small areas around the letters. Um, it's pretty easy to do, and it's a good idea when you've got sort of open letters like this. Adding a background to it works really, really well. You can see here, and then I've got my white letters, which I am layering up. I did sort of move them underneath, and actually that looked quite good as well. And I'm now, oh, should I have done that? But actually, I like how I've layered it. I've got that dimension. It's like the woof woof piece. And then, yeah, so I'm playing around here. You can see there, I think I do it. Yeah, woof woof, but I do layer it. So that's fine. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to, where are we? Yes, moved on. Now I can stick my letters down. So I am using glossy accents to stick the perspectives onto the perspectives because that'll give me a nice strong hold. And then I can just give that a moment to dry, and then I can get that stuck down onto the layout. And then I can move on to certainly getting the embellishments stuck down now. So I'm going down the side here with the handsome, and then I've gone with the two O's, which are the little paw prints. So I've got one in the lime and I've got one in the sort of tealy blue. And I decided to just use those in the end, and I don't use the W and the F. Oh, there's the tag. I told you that I just added some ribbon through and tied around it with twine. So they're getting stuck down behind the photos. Yes, so I've just used the two paw prints, the two O's from the woof, instead of the whole word. It just didn't work for me down on the right there. So yeah, I'm just going with that. So playing around here with how I'm going to get things stuck down. And finally, I make a decision, and I can get things working. I sort of continue on with that vertical design going down underneath the photos. So keep the flowers sort of like cascading down. With the banner, I've just curved it, so I've stuck it just at the end, so I've got that sort of lift on it. And then get those flowers, and yeah, I'm sort of almost done. But there is something I'd forgotten that I did when I came off camera. So I found the essential stars in the spring colors. They were tucked under something, and I'd completely forgotten about the stars. So I do add some of the perspective stars after, and you'll see that in the close-ups. And I do also add a few extra little epoxy embellishments and puffy stickers from the Bella Blvd collection. They get added in afterwards. I did forget these. That's right. I did go into my stash and pulled out I was looking for enamel dots or something like that. And I have some tiny little stars that I add on now. But of course, I did forget I had the other stars that I was also going to add on as well. So you'll see that anyway in a moment. So yeah, just adding these tiny little stars in the coordinating colours as well to the layout. And then it's pretty much done. I do add some journaling, which will go underneath the woof, and you will see that in the close-up, which is coming up very, very shortly. There we go. Okay, here's the final layout where you'll see those extra pieces that I did add in afterwards, and here's some of the close-ups. That very cute wolf and those very cute paws as well. And then, of course, the essential stars. I hope you've enjoyed watching the process video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in my next layout. Bye for now.